The atmosphere of the stadium changes dramatically when you're among 70,000 excited fans, and that's exactly where Beyoncé found herself that night in Los Angeles. This was no ordinary concert. It was Kendrick Lamar pouring his heart and soul into one of the city's biggest venues. Amidst the electrifying energy and the crowd singing along to his lyrics, an unexpected moment unfolded that caught everyone off guard. It was a moment that would ignite discussions for weeks, if not months. While Kendrick was on stage, fully immersed in his performance, there was another figure quietly stealing the spotlight: Beyoncé's young daughter. Welcome to Celebrity Cookies, where the tea is always hot and the stories come with sprinkles of surprise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your take on the story. Now, let me paint the picture for you, because you need to understand the whole scene to really feel what went down. The Staples Center was packed, wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. People from every corner of LA showed up. You had folks who drove hours just to be there, fans who'd been waiting years to see Kendrick perform live in his own city. The air was thick with anticipation, that kind of electric feeling you get when you know something special is about to happen. The bass was already thumping through the speakers during soundcheck, making your chest vibrate, making your heart beat in rhythm with the music. This was the kind of night where legends are made, where memories get burned into your mind forever. Kendrick came out and the place erupted. I'm talking about screams so loud you couldn't hear yourself think. He opened with a track that had everyone's hands in the air, bodies moving like waves in an ocean. The stage setup was insane. Lights cutting through the darkness like lasers, smoke machines creating this otherworldly atmosphere. And Kendrick, he was in his zone, moving across that stage like he owned every inch of it, spitting bars with a precision that reminded everyone why he's considered one of the greatest to ever do it. His energy was contagious, spreading through the crowd like wildfire. But here's where it gets interesting. Beyoncé was in the building, sitting in one of those VIP sections where you can see everything but stay just out of the spotlight. She brought her daughter along, giving her a chance to witness greatness up close, to see what it means when an artist connects with their city on that level. And let me tell you, her daughter wasn't just sitting there watching like a typical spectator. From the moment the music started, this young girl was moving, not just bobbing her head or swaying side to side like most people do, but really dancing, feeling every single note, every beat drop, every lyric like it was written specifically for her. The people around them started noticing. At first, it was just subtle glances, quick looks over shoulders, people doing double takes. Then more heads started turning, because what they were seeing wasn't just a kid having fun at a concert. This was something else entirely. This girl had rhythm in her blood, movement in her bones that you can't teach in any dance class. She was hitting every beat switch, catching every subtle change in tempo, her body interpreting the music in ways that made grown adults stop and stare. It was like watching a young prodigy discover their calling in real time, right there in the middle of all that madness. Security guards who were supposed to be watching the crowd found themselves watching her instead. Other celebrities in the VIP section started pulling out their phones, trying to catch this moment on camera because they knew they were witnessing something rare. Even Beyoncé, who's seen every kind of talent you can imagine, who's performed on the biggest stages in the world, looked at her daughter with this mixture of pride and amazement. Because when you're a parent and you see your child shine like that, expressing themselves with pure joy and zero fear, it hits different. It hits deep. Meanwhile, Kendrick was going through his set, track after track, each song building on the last, creating this journey that took the audience higher and higher. He performed songs about struggle, about triumph, about the streets that raised him, about dreams that seemed impossible until they weren't. And with every word he spit, this young girl in the VIP section was translating those emotions into movement. When the music got heavy, intense, dealing with darker themes, her dancing reflected that weight. When the beat switched to something more uplifting, more celebratory, she transformed right along with it. She wasn't just dancing to the music, she was becoming the music, channeling it through her entire being. People in the crowd who could see her started spreading the word, Text messages flying, social media posts going up in real time. Someone near the VIP section managed to get a clear video, and within minutes, it was making rounds online. The caption was simple, but it said everything, talking about how Beyoncé's daughter was giving a performance of her own, how she was absolutely killing it, how she had the natural talent that makes legends. The video started racking up views faster than anyone expected, comments flooding in from people who couldn't believe what they were seeing. What made it even more powerful was the authenticity of the moment. This wasn't staged, wasn't rehearsed, wasn't some publicity stunt. This was pure, unfiltered expression from a young person who felt the music so deeply that her body had no choice but to respond. In a world where everything seems calculated and planned, where every move celebrities and their families make gets scrutinized and analyzed, this moment stood out because it was real. It was a reminder that talent can show up anywhere, that passion doesn't care about age or experience, that sometimes the most memorable performances happen when nobody's expecting them. Kendrick eventually noticed the commotion in that section of the arena. Between songs, while the crowd was still roaring, he looked over and caught a glimpse of what everyone was talking about. You could see it on his face, that recognition, that respect for someone who gets it, who understands what the music is really about. He didn't stop his show, didn't make a big announcement or anything, but there was this acknowledgement, this silent nod to the fact that art was inspiring art, that his performance was creating ripples beyond just the stage. As the night went on, the energy in that stadium reached levels that people would talk about for years. Kendrick brought out surprise guests, the crowd went absolutely wild, the music got louder, the lights got brighter, and through it all, Beyoncé's daughter kept dancing. She didn't get tired, didn't slow down, didn't seem to care that thousands of eyes were now watching her along with the main performance. If anything, she fed off that energy, used it to push herself even further, to explore movements she'd never tried before, to express feelings she probably didn't even have words for yet. By the time Kendrick reached his final song, the one everyone had been waiting for, the entire stadium was united in this collective experience. Strangers were hugging strangers, people were crying tears of joy, voices were hoarse from screaming lyrics. And in the VIP section, a young girl was finishing her own journey, her own performance, sweat on her forehead, smile on her face, completely exhausted, but completely fulfilled. She had given everything she had to that moment, held nothing back, and in doing so, she'd created her own kind of magic. When the lights came up and the night officially ended, people filed out of that stadium changed. They come for Kendrick Lamar, come to witness a legendary performance from one of hip-hop's finest, and they got exactly that. But they also got something unexpected, something bonus, something that reminded them why live music matters, why being present for these moments is irreplaceable. They got to see raw talent in its purest form, unpolished but undeniable, young but powerful. The videos that circulated online after that night told the story from every angle. Some showed Kendrick owning that stage. Some showed the massive crowd losing their minds. But the ones that went truly viral were the ones focused on Beyoncé's daughter. People couldn't get enough of watching this young girl embody music with such freedom and skill. Dance instructors were breaking down her techniques. Other artists were sharing the clips with messages of encouragement. Parents were showing their own kids as inspiration for what's possible when you follow your passion. What happened that night in Los Angeles wasn't just about a concert or a performance. It was about the passing of a torch, about one generation inspiring the next, about art creating more art in ways nobody can predict or control. Kendrick Lamar came to give his city a show they'd never forget, and he succeeded beyond measure. But in the process, he helped create a moment for someone else, someone young enough to still be discovering who she is and what she's capable of. And Beyoncé, watching her daughter find her own light in the middle of someone else's shine, got to experience the kind of pride that money can't buy and fame can't manufacture. That's the thing about real talent, about genuine passion. It doesn't wait for permission, doesn't need a spotlight or a stage. It shows up when the music hits right, when the moment feels true, when the soul has something it needs to express. And on that night in LA, surrounded by thousands of people, underneath those bright stadium lights, with Kendrick's voice filling the air and the bass shaking the ground, Beyoncé's daughter showed the world that she inherited more than just her mother's genes. She inherited the gift, the calling, the undeniable pull toward greatness that defines true artists. The question now isn't whether she has talent. That's already been answered. The question is what she'll do with it, where it'll take her, and how bright her own star will shine when it's her turn to take center stage. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.